Hi, my name's Ron, and welcome to Layer 3, Part 2 of the Creepypasta Iceberg. As always, be sure to check out the previous layers if you haven't already, as I currently have the first layer, second layer, and the first part of the third layer out already on my channel. The Creepypasta Iceberg we will be covering today was made by the user Avargus on DeviantArt, who I will link in the description below. Just as how other icebergs work, the deeper we go down this iceberg, the more unknown and intense the entries become, with the most well-known and common entries at the top, and seemingly all the worst and least known entries at the bottom. Without further ado, let's get on to the video. The Gray Man. When I was 17, my best friend Mike ran a small YouTube channel for Let's Play videos, focusing on obscure games he played on a PSX emulator. His channel had about 30 subscribers, mainly friends, and I would often watch his videos to support him. One day, Mike mentioned a game called LSD, Dream Emulator, which neither of us had heard of, and he decided to feature it on his channel. The game involved exploring various Japanese environments, encountering strange creatures and characters, including an eerie NPC called the Gray Man, who would make Mike gasp and laugh nervously whenever he appeared. Mike progressed to day 12 in the game over a week, becoming increasingly captivated by it. He then posted on his channel that he had dreamed of the Gray Man and decided to stop playing the game. Mike became increasingly distressed, revealing to me that he had a terrifying dream where he had drowned in his bathtub while the Gray Man watched, feeling like it lasted for weeks. This incident deeply affected him, causing him to withdraw and look unwell. He struggled to stay awake in class, and his mental state deteriorated. Around this time, graffiti in Japanese started appearing around town, including one night when I found Mike crying near a half-finished piece. He confided that he was tortured by the Gray Man in his dreams and couldn't find peace. One night, Mike asked me to delete the game, his videos, and his YouTube channel because he couldn't bear to touch them. After complying, I tried playing the game myself, curious about its effects. I didn't encounter anything unusual and felt fine afterward. However, I dreamed of Mike in the game's world, which unsettled me. Mike disappeared and was later found dead in the woods, having apparently taken his own life. Despite my efforts to move on and focus on my studies, I occasionally dream about him and the haunting experience of the Gray Man. The Wyoming Incident. The Wyoming Incident, also known as the Wyoming hijacking, is a legend about a television broadcast hijacking in Niobrara County. A hacker supposedly interrupted local broadcasts with a video featuring disembodied human heads displaying various emotions and poses, with frequent camera position changes and special presentation announcements. This video became known locally due to adverse effects reported by some viewers, such as vomiting, hallucinations, and headaches. These symptoms were attributed to frequencies between 17 and 19 Hz played during the broadcast, which can cause the eyes to subtly vibrate and induce visual hallucinations. However, the video is fake and was inspired by the real Max Headroom incident. In the video, they start off with the static, then the text. We present a special presentation. At the top and bottom, the bottom half with the text being upside down, which appear after some certain text. Then there is some text over a black background, which will include, "You will see such pretty things. Why do you hate? You are ill. We just want to fix you. What hides in your mind? We have already seen it. You can lose everything. Nothing is priceless. You cannot hide forever. We stand at the door. You are lost on the path. There is truth and fiction. All good things. And finally, found you." And very creepy CGI heads doing poses, spinning around and going close to the screen, even moving their mouths. Then it cuts to static. White with red. A man went to a hotel and walked up to the front desk to check in. The woman at the desk gave him his key and told him that on the way to his room, there was a door with no number that was locked, and no one was allowed in there. She explained that it was a storeroom and that it was out of bounds. She reminded him of this several times before allowing him upstairs. The man followed the instructions of the woman, going straight to bed in his room. However, her insistence had piqued his curiosity, so the next night he walked down the hall to the door and tried the handle. Sure enough, it was locked. He bent down and looked through the wide keyhole. Cold air passed through it, chilling his eye. What he saw was not a storeroom, but a hotel bedroom, like his. In the corner was a woman whose skin was incredibly pale. She was leaning her head against a wall, facing away from the door. The man stared in confusion for a while. Was this a celebrity? The owner's daughter? He almost knocked on the door to ask himself, but decided not to. As he was still looking, the woman turned sharply. He jumped back from the keyhole, hoping she would not notice that he had been spying on her. He crept away from the door and walked back to his room. The next day he returned to the door and looked through the wide keyhole. This time, all he saw was redness. He couldn't make anything out besides a distinct, unmoving red color. Perhaps the inhabitants of the room knew he had been spying on them the night before, and had blocked the keyhole with something red. He felt embarrassed that he had made the woman so uncomfortable, and hoped she had not made a complaint to the woman in the front desk. At this point, he decided to consult her for more information. She sighed and asked, "Did you look through the keyhole?" The man told her that he had, and she said, "Well, I might as well tell you the story of what happened in that room. A long time ago, a man murdered his wife there, and we found that even now, whoever stays within gets very uncomfortable. But this woman is not ordinary. She is white all over, except for her eyes, which are red." The Showers. The story is by the user Clover10176 on Reddit, who I will link in the description below, as well as the original post with the story. To keep it short, the story is about Jack, whose former English teacher, Mr. Mays, tells a scary tale every Halloween about a building in rural Nebraska called The Showers. The story is about supernatural horrors that threaten to consume Mr. Mays. After school ends, Jack becomes curious about the story and sets out on a road trip to find the building. The trip quickly spirals out of control, and Jack begins to wonder if the showers is real and more than just a story. Again, if you are interested in reading the whole story, I will link the original story from Reddit in the description, as well as Clover10176's profile if you want to check out their other works as well. Annie96 is typing. The story is by Pascal Chatterjee, who I will link in the description below, as the original story has this really cool WhatsApp looking format. And yeah. The story is a chilling text conversation between Annie and her friend David, who goes by McDavie in her text. Annie is home alone and disturbed by loud winds and footsteps outside. She sees a man in her garden who looks like David and is wearing his football jacket. But David insists he's at home, and they conclude the man must be an imposter. The situation escalates as the intruder enters the house. Annie hides in a closet with a knife, and the intruder starts calling out to her in a deep, unsettling voice, repeatedly asking her to come out. David tries to calm her down and reassures her that the police are on their way. As the intruder gets closer, Annie notices the voice and presence becoming more intense. She pleads with David to make it stop, suspecting his thoughts might be influencing the situation. David confesses his deep feelings for her, and suddenly the intruder stops moving. Annie stays hidden until the police arrive. The conversation takes a twist when Annie's messages become cheerful, suggesting the danger has passed. David grows suspicious and asks for confirmation of her identity. Annie goes offline without responding, leaving an eerie uncertainty. Rap Rat. The story revolves around the creepy board game called Rap Rat, which was a substitute for the 90s game Nightmare. The game came with a VHS tape that featured a character named Rap Rat, designed to be child-friendly. However, the protagonist and their younger brother were terrified by Rap Rat's unsettling appearance and demonic voice. The VHS displayed disturbing images, intensifying their fear. Years later, while preparing to move in with his girlfriend, the protagonist found the Rap Rat game again, despite believing it had been disposed of. When he played the tape for his girlfriend, the images had changed to even more horrifying scenes, and Rap Rat appeared more sinister, resembling a living creature. They heard scratching at their door, which escalated to thumping. The police arrived after a neighbor reported a suspicious figure, but nothing was found. Haunted by nightmares and scratching sounds, the protagonist sought to sue the company behind Rap Rat. He discovered that the game was created by the same company behind Nightmare, named A Couple of Cowboys, which had gone defunct in 1994. The game was manufactured in a Haitian sweatshop where a young girl died in a tragic accident. Her mother cursed the doll, summoning a fear demon named a parrot. The company jokingly renamed the game Rap Rat, which further spread the curse. The protagonist warned others never to say the name Apparat aloud to avoid contact with the demon. Despite believing he destroyed the VHS, it reappeared, and Rap Rat continued to haunt him. He refused to share the video, fearing it could drive others insane. Rap Rat lurked in the shadows, letting its presence be known but never fully revealing itself, until it was too late. The character was written by the user Canadian Cowboy, the Creepypasta fandom website, which I'll put the links of the story itself and his profile in the description below if you want to read the full story. Boothworld Industries. In this story, the narrator recounts their chilling experience with Boothworld Industries, a mysterious and sinister organization. After reading about Boothworld Industries on Reddit, the narrator decides to call the number provided, expecting a voicemail like others had received. Instead, they get a live person named Samantha who asks for their name. Panicking, the narrator hangs up, but the phone rings again soon after. Ignoring it, they pick up their daughter Ariana from school. In the car, Ariana answers the phone, and the same voice, Samantha, greets her. The narrator, now deeply unsettled, hears Samantha say they need to schedule remodeling. At home, the narrator calls Boothworld Industries again, provides the name of their boss, Janice Hoffman, for remodeling. Samantha confirms the appointment but demands payment in the form of the narrator's daughter, Ariana. If not paid, Boothworld Industries would repossess Ariana. Refusing to comply, the narrator experiences escalating horror as Ariana vanishes, and the Boothworld business card is left in her cereal bowl. Despite calling the police and receiving assurances, the narrator receives a series of increasingly terrifying calls from different numbers. Even after removing the cell phone battery and unplugging the home phone, the detective on Ariana's case mentions a kid who also called Boothworld Industries but found no records of the company. Eventually, the narrator gets a final call, confirming the work is done and inviting them to the now open r/Boothworld subreddit. The story ends with an eerie, resigned note as the narrator states that everything is fine and thanks the readers, echoing the sinister politeness of the Boothworld Industries. Kagekao. This creepypasta was made by the user Jinbei Zamezama on DeviantArt, formerly known as Ginga Akam. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Kagekao, which presumably means shadow face in Japanese, is a 21-year-old Japanese demon now living in America. He was born in Japan but was separated from his parents, Kuratsume and Yoruyuki, who are believed to be dead. He moved to America at 18. Kagekao is a 5'4" male with gray skin, short black hair, and silver eyes that glow based on his emotions. Silver white when positive, and light absorbing when negative. He obsessively wears a custom-made black and white split mask created by the Shinigami Daraku Makimono, which only he can see through. His eyes' light effect is magnified on the mask, displaying his emotions on the respective black or white sides. He typically wears dark clothing for functionality and comfort, and is known for his iconic black and white striped scarf. Kagekao is a playful sadist who designs and enacts long, painful, usually fatal games for his victims. He prefers using his cat-like claws over weapons, and occasionally a broken wine glass for drama. He loves wine, video games, and speaking Japanese to confuse people. His personality is energetic, mischievous, and intelligent, often going too far with his pranks. Kagekao is highly agile and flexible, excelling in parkour and able to navigate obstacles with ease. He performs feats like crawling on ceilings, scaling buildings, which others cannot replicate. Misfortune.gb. Misfortune is an obscure horror game for the original Game Boy, known only through personal accounts and a few screenshots. It lacks credits, and its creator remains unknown. Despite its age and cult status, it is believed to have influenced famous creepypastas like Sonic.exe and Lavender Town Syndrome. The player controls a young boy in a gothic building, where they soon encounter a demonic entity. The creature, resembling Baphomet, Beelzebub, or the devil, challenges the player with the phrase, "I exist within the very fabric of reality. Do you want to challenge me?" If the player accepts, the game begins. The player navigates maze-like rooms filled with traps, keys, and puzzles, aiming to reach the next level or solve riddles. The well-known puzzle involves choosing between four cabins, with a warning that choosing incorrectly will bring misfortune to loved ones. Mistakes led to a black screen showing the demon and the message, "I am God here," in blood-styled writing. Rumors from the late 1990s suggest the game causes depression and dread in players who lose and see the game over screen. Some forum members who shared such claims reportedly died or disappeared, fueling speculation that the game's soundtrack, with its unsettling and erratic music, influences moods and thoughts. The game features deep, buzzy tones and off-key melodies, especially the game over screen's high-frequency, nauseating music. Only the theme from the first meeting with the demon is available online. No known ROMs or cartridges exist. Players typically find the game accidentally within other Game Boy titles through glitches or cheating devices. Detailed methods to access the game often fail, and its sprites are copied from host games like Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening, and Pokemon Red. The narrator warns against seeking out misfortune. Though the existence of curses and demons is uncertain, the game has real harmful effects. The narrator recounts a personal story of a friend who became reclusive and eventually died by sewer slide after playing the game, cautioning readers to reconsider playing it, even as collectors or curious enthusiasts. Pale Luna. Created by the user Mikhail Honoritis, who I will link their profile on the Something Awful forum in the description below. In the past 15 years, the internet has made accessing information incredibly easy, transforming how we interact with media. Before this digital era, people would gather in person for software swap parties, trading games on floppy disks. These events allowed people to share popular games and even independent creations, which sometimes even gain popularity akin to viral videos today. One such game, Pale Luna, was a mysterious text adventure game from the San Francisco Bay Area. Unlike other games, it was never widely circulated due to its obscure design. The game began with the player in a dark room and limited commands. Progressing through the game was frustratingly difficult, with most players abandoning it after repeated system crashes and seemingly pointless commands. However, Michael Nevins, a determined player, spent hours navigating the game, eventually discovering coordinates 40.24248, -121.4434. Interpreting these as latitude and longitude, he ventured to Lassen Volcanic Park. Following the game's directions, he found and dug up the decomposed head of an 11-year-old girl. Her name was Karen Paulson, who had been missing for over a year. Despite attempts, authorities couldn't identify the programmer of Pale Luna, and the rest of Karen's body was never found. The Passenger. Made by Michael Whitehouse, also known as Ghastly Tales from YouTube, who I will link their Wattpad and YouTube in the description below. Several months ago, a bus driver friend shared a mysterious incident that piqued my interest. He recounted a story about a woman named Ruby, pieced together from various accounts. Ruby, in her early 40s, lived a tough life, juggling two poorly paid jobs to support her 13-year-old daughter, Angela, who suffered from severe asthma. Despite her exhaustion, Ruby worked extra hours one night and caught the last bus home. On this bus, she encountered a strange, hooded passenger who sat next to her despite the many empty seats. Initially, Ruby tried to engage the passenger in conversation, but received no response. Instead, she was disturbed by the passenger's unsettling behavior, like scratching the seat. Eventually, Ruby fell asleep, only to awaken to the chilling sight of the passenger's grotesque face reflected in the window. Terrified, she screamed for help, but the bus driver was unconscious, and the passenger began to pursue her. In a frantic escape, Ruby managed to shatter the driver's cabin glass and hit the door release button. She fled into the night, finding the bus had mysteriously stopped outside her home. Upon arriving inside, she discovered Angela in the midst of a severe asthma attack and called for help just in time to save her. The police found no evidence of the hooded passenger, only a message scratched into the seat. Not yet. This haunting message left Ruby with an eerie sense of impending doom, questioning when the passenger might return. The Grifter. The Grifter is an infamous video first mentioned on 4chan's X image board around 2007 and 2008. The original post included a link to the video, which was described as highly disturbing. The video, initially very grainy, contained bizarre and unsettling imagery. A bathtub filled with writhing maggots, melting old paintings, random forests, flashing colors, and foreign text, accompanied by a strange murmuring voice. The graininess lifted slightly to reveal more disturbing scenes. A small puppy held by its neck, crying out in a disturbingly human-like manner. A nursery full of presumed dead infants, with one baby bleeding from the eyes and mouth, and a basement with a blood-stained, malformed hand disappearing into it. Further scenes included rotting plants, close-ups of corpses, and supposed real exorcisms and demonic possessions, accompanied by increasingly frantic and painful screams from the previously calm voice. The video concluded with a message in Esperanto, detailing that the footage was a portrayal of the atrocities committed by a man-demon known as the Grifter, who terrorized the Balkans until his mysterious disappearance in August 2001. The video claimed to show only 2 minutes of a nearly 100-hour-long footage, most of which was too disturbing for the public viewing. The brief portion shown was approved by international authorities and provided by Balkan police for worldwide distribution, with thanks to those organizations for their cooperation. The video can be found on the YouTube channel Maintenance Tunnels. And looking through the comments, some users have noticed that parts of the footage within the video is actually from the horror film Little Otik, also known as Gritty Guts, a horror movie from the year 2000 about an infertile couple who adopt a tree stump as a baby who quickly grows into an all-devouring monster. Take that as you will. I found a hidden door in my cellar. The following story was made by the user Voids on the r/NoSleep subreddit, who I will, of course, link in the description below, as well as the original post. The story is summarized as follows. A couple living in an old Victorian terrace house rarely used their cold and damp cellar. During a recent attempt to renovate it, they discovered a hidden door covered by wallpaper. Behind this door, they found a staircase leading to another older door. Despite the initial plan to consult their neighbor, the husband's curiosity drove him to explore further. Inside the room, at the bottom of the stairs, he encountered a man in a black suit, standing eerily still. The man's movements were unnatural and terrifying, causing the husband to flee in a panic after the man started moving towards him in a bizarre, jerky manner. After escaping and alerting his wife and neighbor, they called the police, who found no one in the house but discovered the cellar door and the back door open. The hidden room was examined, revealing carved symbols in what appeared to be centuries-old dried blood. Despite efforts to understand the symbols, their meaning remained a mystery. The police sealed off the room, and the couple never went back into the cellar, fearing they had realized something malicious that had been locked away for a reason. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's been a while, it's been a couple months since I posted. I've just been debating on whether or not to finish this video or not. And I've been pretty busy with life in general, school, work, all that business. But yeah, we hit 4 subscribers, which is amazeballs. Looky, I'm trying to make some new type of content. I know it's like, I feel like Iceberg videos are like just so repetitive, even though my editing has gone a little bit better, but yeah, I feel like this content is gonna get really repetitive, and it's not something I want to do long term. It's not something that really engages me, or like, yeah, something like that. But yeah, I'll try coming up with new ideas soon. But for now, I think that's gonna be it. Yeah, peace out.